Welcome, dear Sagittarius, both my longtime cosmic explorers and you fresh arrow-slinging newcomers to Zodiac Talks Tarot, where astrology isn't just stars and symbols, but soul work with a side of sass. As someone who's spent decades studying not only the zodiac wheel but also the intricate psychology behind each sign with a sprinkle of Buddhist insight and a whole lot of real-life trial and error, let me just say, if you're here, you're exactly where you need to be. And if you're a Sagittarius, well, it was only a matter of time before you wandered into this rabbit hole of cosmic truth. After all, you never could resist a portal labeled hidden knowledge, could you? So let's talk about what's really going on in the sky right now. The Venus-Chiron portal has officially opened, and while NASA won't mention it in their press releases, over here, we don't just mention it. We live it. This is no fluffy love and light phase. This is a full-on emotional GPS recalibration. Venus in chatty, reflective Gemini is opposing your sun sign, while Chiron the wounded healer is hanging out in fellow fire sign Aries, firing up your fifth house of joy, romance, and creativity. Translation? You might suddenly find yourself crying over a 2006 playlist or rethinking that one time you ghosted someone in Bali because you needed space to grow. Yep. That's the ripple effect of this portal. But here's the kicker, this isn't just emotional turbulence. It's a spiritual checkpoint. The universe is gently, okay, not so gently, nudging you toward deeper self-love, the kind that isn't based on achievements, passports stamped, or how witty your hot takes are. It's asking you to sit still, listen in, and look at those parts of yourself you usually outrun. This is prep work, because when Chiron goes retrograde on July 30th, we go inward for real. And Sagittarius, as a chosen one in this year of triumph 2025, it's not just about how far you've traveled, it's about how honest you're willing to be with yourself on the journey. So take a breath. Take a seat, preferably somewhere with good Wi-Fi and a journal nearby. Because this portal, it's not waiting for your permission. But if you're willing to walk through it, it might just give you the wisdom you've been pretending you already had. Alright, Sagittarius, let's get one thing straight. This Venus-Chiron portal is not some trendy good vibes only wellness retreat where you tape a crystal to your chest, light some overpriced sage, and call it a day. Nope. This moment in the cosmos is far deeper, far wiser, and frankly, a little more uncomfortable than your usual optimism would prefer. As someone who's spent years decoding the intricate dance between astrology, depth psychology, and the more grounded teachings of Buddhist wisdom, let me put it like this: this portal isn't here to coddle you. It's here to wake you up. This isn't about bypassing your wounds with toxic positivity or spiritual fluff. It's about a fundamental shift in how you perceive yourself. Not as a broken arrow or wounded nomad, but as a wise wanderer, someone who knows the terrain of suffering and chooses, consciously, to walk it with grace. And Sag, I know you. You're a fire sign with a sense of humor sharper than most swords, and a tendency to turn even your heartbreaks into funny anecdotes at dinner parties. But this portal? It's not buying the jokes. It's inviting you to get real. To recognize that the truth you've been seeking through books, travel, and deep philosophical debates might just be hiding behind the very emotions you tend to dodge. Now, astrologically speaking, Venus and Chiron are forming a rare 60-degree sextile, Venus hanging out at 26 degrees Gemini, Chiron at 27 degrees Aries. This isn't just a neat alignment, it's a sacred bridge, a cosmic highway connecting the sparkly surface of your playful distractions to the raw terrain of spiritual integration. And yet, I get it. You'd rather plan your next escape route to Bali than sit still and unpack that awkward memory from 2009. But this moment says, enough avoiding. Let's crack the shell, not just another joke. Because underneath the laughter, Sag, is a truth that's begging to be seen. And if you're brave enough to walk through this portal not with bravado, but with real inner curiosity you might just discover that healing isn't the end of your story. It's the beginning of your real adventure. Let's talk cosmic timing, Sagittarius, and I don't mean that accidental text you sent your ex at 2 a.m. during Mercury retrograde. No, this is the real kind of timing, the kind the universe sets with precision and a mischievous wink. Right now, Mercury is retrograde in Leo, another fire sign just as bold, passionate, and allergic to boredom as you. But what's wild here is that this retrograde is lighting up your 9th house, that sacred realm of higher learning, truth-seeking, and soul expansion. Basically, the exact coordinates of your inner compass. Now, toss Chiron's upcoming retrograde into the mix, the wounded healer slowing down in Aries, your 5th house of creativity, joy, and childhood vulnerability, and what do you get? A cosmic combo platter designed specifically to get you talking. Not about travel plans or the latest philosophical rabbit hole you're diving into, but about the deeper truths you've been avoiding. Especially those old, crusty "I'm not good enough" narratives that have been riding shotgun in your psyche since you were a kid. You know the ones. They don't even chip in for gas, but they sure have a lot to say about your worth. Here's the kicker: this portal isn't here forever. From July 25th to July 30th, the cosmic gates are wide open, offering you a 5-day window to stop, breathe, and reprogram. Think of it like a spiritual layover in the middle of your soul's flight itinerary. You don't have to unpack everything, but you do need to look at what's in your carry-on. Are you still dragging around outdated beliefs and emotional junk from 2003? Time to check that baggage. And those weird flashbacks you've been having lately? The sudden memory of that time you got rejected in front of your entire 8th grade English class, or the way your heart sank when a friend forgot your birthday in college. Those aren't glitches. They're breadcrumbs, clues left by your higher self to guide you back to the core wound. The universe isn't punishing you, it's saying, hey, let's finally deal with this so it stops running the show behind the scenes. Sagittarius, this portal is your invitation to stop outrunning your shadow and start decoding it. Because when you face it, really face it, you don't just heal, you evolve. And if that's not on brand for the cosmic philosopher of the Zodiac, I don't know what is. Alright, Sagittarius, time to roll up those philosophical sleeves and do what you secretly love, connect the dots. Imagine your life as one giant cosmic jigsaw puzzle, except this one doesn't come with a picture on the box, and half the pieces are emotional flashbacks from high school. Still, if you look closely at what keeps popping up lately, the patterns are hard to miss. Are you constantly bending over backwards to keep the peace, even when the whole thing bores you to tears? Are you biting your tongue when you really want to say, actually, I read 5 books on this subject and here's why you're wrong? Or maybe, just maybe, you're doing what Sagittarians do best, covering up deep vulnerability by turning every personal moment into a spontaneous TED Talk on the meaning of life. I hate to break it to you, but these aren't just quirks or charming personality flaws. These are your Chiron wounds in action. And Chiron doesn't do surface level. He's the celestial therapist who keeps showing up uninvited, holding a mirror to your shadow with all the gentleness of a Zen monk and the persistence of a tax collector. Now let's dig deeper. What keeps echoing in your life? Do people brush you off, tell you you're too much, or roll their eyes when your passion lights up the room? That voice in your head that says, maybe I should tone it down, that's not your truth, that's your wound talking. And here's your Sagittarian-sized truth bomb: you're not too much. You're just in the wrong damn room. So what now? You speak it. You write it. You yell it into a pillow if you have to. With Venus in Gemini giving you a silver tongue and Chiron in Aries daring you to own your fire, this is the moment to say the thing you've been scared to say. Talk to your therapist. Journal it out. Heck, talk to your inner 12-year-old, the one who thought they had to shrink to fit in. Because here's the thing, Sagittarius, if you don't let it out now, it's going to find its way out later. Probably at brunch. Probably after one mimosa too many. Probably in front of your boss. You have a truth-telling superpower. But superpowers are only heroic when they're used with purpose, not just sarcasm and charm. So speak it clean, clear, and straight from the fire in your chest. Healing doesn't begin when things are perfect. It begins the moment you stop pretending they already are. Let's get honest for a moment, Sagittarius, not the kind of honest you toss into a casual debate about free will over cocktails, but the kind that makes you pause mid-conversation and actually listen. Yeah, I said it. Listen. Not just nod while secretly planning your rebuttal or mentally checking your passport's expiration date. I mean really listen. Because here's the truth, if something someone says makes you flinch, roll your eyes, or suddenly need to interrupt with a 3-minute monologue about Nietzsche and the illusion of ego, and yes, I'm speaking from personal experience, don't ask me how that retreat went, that's not just a reaction. That's your wound flaring up, trying to protect you from something tender underneath. Now let's bring Chiron into the picture. With Chiron moving through Aries, we are knee-deep in identity crisis mode. This transit doesn't ask politely, it grabs the mic and asks, do you even know who you are without the performance? And for Sagittarians, masters of narrative, philosophers of the Zodiac, natural-born teachers, and travelers, that question cuts deep. Because you've worn many hats, told many stories, and maybe even played so many roles that the real you got lost somewhere between your last spiritual breakthrough and your last airport security check. But here's the kicker, this isn't about abandoning your fire, your humor, or your lust for life. It's about sitting quietly, yes, quietly with the version of you that doesn't need to perform. No audience. No punchline. Just the raw, unfiltered essence of you. That's where the healing happens. And let's go one layer deeper. That voice in your head telling you you're too much, too loud, or too intense. You weren't born with that. It didn't show up in your soul's blueprint. That was handed to you by a parent who didn't know better, a teacher who misunderstood you, or an ex who felt threatened by your light. It's not your truth, it's someone else's fear wearing your voice. And now? It's time to lovingly hand it back. Like, thank you for your unsolicited opinion. I'll be over here reclaiming my wild, radiant, messy self. Because the truth is, Sagittarius, your job isn't to be less. It's to become more you. And this transit is the universe saying, strip it back, listen deep, and remember who you were before the world told you who to be. Let's set the record straight. Sagittarius, this journey you're on? It's not about erasing the pain like it's a typo in your cosmic autobiography. No, no. This is about alchemizing it. Transforming it. Turning that emotional lead into spiritual gold. And if anyone's got the stamina and philosophical chops for that kind of transmutation, it's you. You, my friend, have lived. You've wandered through temples and libraries, lost yourself in foreign cities, chased truth across deserts, dorm rooms, and dinner debates. But as any wise monk or slightly jaded therapist will tell you, real wisdom doesn't just live in books or the backroads of Southeast Asia. It's carved into your soul by every heartbreak, betrayal, and beautifully messy breakdown you've ever made it through. Now, here's a little Buddhist real talk for this chapter of the Year of Triumph 2025, pain? Yeah, that's part of the human gig. But suffering? That's negotiable. That's where your choice comes in. Because when you stop seeing your wound as a flaw and start recognizing it as a passageway, you unlock the most powerful kind of purpose there is. You become the one who can turn around and light the way for someone else still stuck in the dark. That's the whole point of Chiron's medicine. Your pain isn't a dead end. It's the map. But look, I know your instinct, Sagittarius. You're a fire sign. A runner. A sprinter toward the next adventure, the next distraction, the next punchline. And yet, running feels like freedom. But sometimes it's just another way to dodge the real work. This time, instead of sprinting, try sitting. Sit with the discomfort like it's an old friend who showed up unannounced with snacks and stories you haven't heard yet. Ask it questions. Listen deeply. Because here's the cosmic twist: once you stop resisting the shadow, it stops chasing you. And it starts teaching you. That wound you've been trying to outrun? It may just be the thing that turns you from seeker to sage. Alright Sagittarius, gather round the celestial campfire because we've got something big brewing, and it's got your name, and your shadow, written all over it. Chiron retrograde is knocking at the door starting July 30th, and trust me, this isn't your average Mercury got your text messages twisted kind of retrograde. No, this is soul surgery. This is the deep, unfiltered, why am I crying at a commercial again, type of transit. But here's the good news, Archer, before the 5-month excavation of your inner psyche begins, the universe has gifted you a sextile. Think of it as the calm before the soul quake. It's like that best friend who grabs your shoulders, looks you in the eye, and says, "Get it together, we're about to enter emotional boot camp." The cosmos is giving you the pre-game locker room pep talk before you step into 5 months of Chiron in Aries, full shadow, no filter, cosmic mirror time. Now listen carefully, this is where the Sagittarius magic kicks in. You're the Zodiac's adventurer, right? So treat this retrograde like you're prepping for a spiritual trek across uncharted territory. This sextile is the flashlight. The retrograde? The cave. You do not want to wander into that cave without a map, snacks, and a journal full of self-awareness. So let's get real about how to prepare. First, map your inner terrain. Where are the cliffs, the emotional drop-offs you pretend aren't there? Which bridges in your life feel one uncomfortable truth away from collapsing? And don't forget your sacred landmarks, those people, practices, and places that bring you home to yourself. And here's your 7-step game plan before July 28th. 1. Create space. Carve out 30 minutes a day to sit, breathe, and eavesdrop on your own soul. No distractions. Just you, your breath, and whatever nonsense your brain decides to bring up. 2. Observe patterns. If the same drama keeps showing up, spoiler alert, you're the common denominator. Don't judge it. Just notice it. 3. Write it down. Journal like your future self is gonna read it one day and say, "Damn, they really did the work." 4. Face truths. Sag, you have a lie detector built into your spirit. Turn it inward. Call yourself out. With love, of course. 5. Have the conversations. Yep, even that one. Especially that one. Awkward is just growth's favorite outfit. 6. Self-compassion. Talk to yourself like you're mentoring your favorite student or your slightly chaotic younger cousin. Be firm, but kind. 7. Set clear intentions. This is not a wing it moment. Choose what you're ready to heal. Aim with purpose. Now here's the mic drop moment. This isn't just another astrological transit. This is a cosmic crossroads for the chosen ones. What you do before July 28th doesn't just echo into the next 5 months, it could ripple through the next 5 years. This is your invitation to level up, shed the old skin, and step into the version of you that your higher self has been quietly rooting for all along. So don't waste it. Aim your arrow with purpose. And remember, healing isn't a detour from your journey, it is the journey. And hey, while you're out here evolving like a cosmic champ, don't forget to enjoy the ride. Laugh too hard. Eat something that makes you dance in your seat. Hug a tree. Or a person. Or both. Life's still beautiful even when it's messy. If this message hit home, give this video a thumbs up, share it with your fellow truth seekers, and subscribe to Zodiac Talks Tarot so you never miss another sacred nudge from the stars. Keep shining, Archer. The universe sees you.